All right, team, what's going on? I'm Tim Jenkins. Welcome to All Things QB, where I watch every single clip and break down the most important ones. Today, we've got Bo Nix and the Broncos, AFC Divisional round. A huge win for this team. Obviously, devastating news with Bo Nix going down. But we're going to talk through the film of how this offense is structured and where I think it can go from here. Guys, if you are not new to the channel, please FTA this thing, which means comment for the algorithm. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you are new, welcome to the channel. I appreciate you being here. And I can, as I always say, you can wait till the end of this video and hopefully I will earn that subscription. But without further ado, let's jump into the film. All right, team. First one we've got for you guys is we've got a great football to start this game. Second, we got second down, little pocket navigation, and then just an absolute dime in there. You guys see it from the tight. I'm actually surprised when I was watching this on the TV copy. I'm highly surprised that this wasn't PI. With that being said, Broncos find a way they fit it in. Love this little short motion here. So what you're getting is you're getting a short motion into what a lot of people would call like a scissors concept. We would call it fluty. You get the short motion in. You've got this guy on this big post. We've got our guy here on the sail, and then we'll get our back out in the flat. Okay, you peek this thing 1 to 2 to 3. Super easy read. Well, you see this little short motion down, and you see he actually gets hung up a little bit. You see I want you guys to watch our vertical release, how he gets hung up and pressed, so it kind of makes it a little congested at the mesh point, the break point for both these guys. However, Bo does a really good job of hanging on the concept, giving the concept a chance, and then ultimately throwing one of those footballs where it's either our guy makes a great play or it's incomplete. And really when you take a peek at it, right? And I always hate this sort of screenshot in quarterback, but when you really take a peek at it, that's kind of the only place to go with the football as well. You know, Sutton's got a guy inside underneath. He's trying to break the in route. You could say maybe our back on the check down, but we've got a guy flying to him. You know, this check down, we've got somebody. Ultimately, this ends up being the best spot to go with the football and just a great location, great catch, moving the chains. Here we've got a design dime. This is the drop. This is a little Jordan Humphrey drop, but this is tremendous design. Great execution. We just got to finish with the catch. Great design from Sean. Great ball from Bo. As we look through this film, though, I do want you guys to look at it through the lens of let's segment this by saying, has Bo turned into a tremendous player? Yes, of course, okay? So these aren't negatives about Bo when I start talking about this. But when you're looking at this film today, I want you guys to look at it through the lens of, do we need world-class quarterback play? Is world-class quarterback play required with some of these concepts? And I'd make the argument that the game plan that we had yesterday, that quality quarterback play could have gotten it done as well. I want you guys to look at this because this is just simply a two-man concept. We're going to come in here. We're going to work up, try to rub this guy. This guy's going to be on a stutter swing. Okay, we're hoping for man coverage. If we get man coverage, we're good to go with the concept. Okay, we get exactly man coverage. Perfect rub. Great throw. We just got to finish it. Okay, but again, is this one of those where only Bo Nix can make this throw in the league, or only Bo Nix could make this throw on the Broncos roster? No, I think this is one of those where you got to feel good about the concept getting done, whether it's Bo or it's another guy under center. This one, we got a little miscommunication. Okay, this one was the snap to end the first quarter. This is a this is called play action, right? And Bo just tries to hand it to the running back. I want to give a little perspective, though, on when stuff like this happens. I think a lot of times the instinct is to go like, how in the world does an NFL quarterback mess this up? And I think transparently, there's a lot of times where you get 2 play calls into your helmet, right? We get a run and a pass. And there's a lot of time when you're playing where every once in a while in practice, you'll have a situation where it's like, in your head, you're killing the play. In your head, you're kill to the next play. And you never verbalize it. So everyone else is running the pass play. And you're sitting here thinking, I killed this against too high, right? He's got too high shell to start. In Bo's head, he might be thinking, man, I killed this into the run play. I'm going to hand it off. And then guess what? He forgot to communicate to everybody else. So, every once in a while, we're going to make mistakes. It was a good way to get out of the mistake by throwing it at Troutman, right? In terms of what they were trying to get to, I think it's important because what we were trying to get to is, biscuits. That's a terrible drawing. What we were trying to get to was Machete right here. We were trying to get to the double deep over Machete. I don't know if we really had anything, to be honest, so you move on. This one is flat out incredible. This one, I think, really sparked this offense. I know we had scored, and I know we had a long possession and kicked the field goal, but this one felt like the spark. This one felt like the play that really got this offense moving in the right direction in terms of, hey, we're going to attack down the field. We're going to generate some plays. And it's always funny, right? When the NFL, it's so complicated. We have so many different looks and, hey, we got to be aware of this. We got to be ready for this. And it's always great to me when the play that sparks an offense is run at every level, including high school, where it's just 4 verts, right? I mean, shoot, run at the youth level, right? You have these guys are on verticals, but they convert to a dropout. You got this seam. Okay. Key to this play is these guys, right? If they kick it to single high, you're going to attack these seams. If we get some sort of quarters look, you can think, hey, I might peek the seam, but get to my dropout. So the key is those safeties. And you see that rotation right there? They're just getting to what we would have called cover 33. So heat zone 33, meaning we're getting pressure here, right? Pressure look. He's going to insert down. So we've got third. Okay, these guys are third defenders, which means when there's third defenders, there's these voids right up here in the middle. Okay, heat zone 33, 3 deep, 3 under with a pressure. Broncos pick up the pressure. Boom. I always like working what we would call afro, away from rotation, meaning if that rotation kicks, okay, where you're going to see this rotation's going to kick they're going to roll to the right. So away from rotation would be thrown to the seam on the left, okay? This is the rotation I'm talking about. So afro, away from rotation would mean that I'm thinking this seam is most likely. And the reason for it is it's just hard, right? They're moving their hips this way to then get back to this. It just makes it more difficult, right? That's why you think, okay, hey, afro away from rotation. Let me bang that seam route. Boom. Great ball, great catch. Just really good stuff there from the Broncos. All right, team, a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Bear Mattress. Guys, as a former athlete, I know how important sleep is. And what I'll tell you is, I thought I knew how important sleep was with an active lifestyle. Even more so, I understand it now as a dad. Okay, as a dad trying to get kids to go to bed, then you got to spend a little time with your wife. You don't have to. You get to. Okay, it's not a have to, it's a get to, gentlemen. Okay, but we're spending a little time with the wife. Next thing you know, you're going to bed, you're waking up early, you're trying to get everything done, you're trying to work out, you're trying to stay active. The recovery on Bear Mattress is awesome. My wife and I, we just got ours. We just unboxed it, threw it on. We've been sleeping on it a couple nights. You guys, I'm telling you, this thing is legit. It is the best mattress we've ever had. One of the cooler things about this, though, is the Bear Sleep Quiz. Bear knows that everybody has different preferences and sleep positions. And they have a quiz that helps you remove the guesswork, and it'll direct you towards the mattress that you should be buying. Guys, here's a couple things that I really love about it as well, in addition to the sleep quiz, in addition to the just how awesome it's been for us. But there's a 120 night sleep trial that you get to test it out and make sure you're loving it. They have a limited lifetime warranty. The other thing that I wanted to make sure that I said, because I had no idea about this until Bear approached me, is that all these other mattress companies, they use fiberglass. Literally, fiberglass in these mattresses. Bear mattresses do not contain fiberglass. And then Bear's like super nice about it. They go, hey, Bear mattresses, we don't contain fiberglass, which can be detrimental to your health. It's like, that's the nicest way of saying it. Dude, I'm not trying to sleep on fiberglass. I'm not trying to have fiberglass like these other mattress companies are putting in there. So guys, I think you guys are going to love it. I hope you guys do go check them out. They're supporting the channel. I hope you guys support them. And then you guys can use my code, Tim Jenkins, to get 40% off your Bear mattress. So you can visit bearmattress.com/Tim Jenkins and you will get 40% off your Bear mattress. Guys, as always, go support these guys. They're being awesome to the channel. They're supporting the channel so I can keep pumping these things out. So please go support them. You guys know the deal. Let's jump back into the film. I flat out love this design here. So you get into super heavy personnel, right? You bring an extra offensive lineman in the game. You make them think, oh, we are just going to pound this thing, right? You get into real heavy. You bring the extra guy in. He's got to report eligible. And so what's interesting, too, and I think we all need to appreciate the details of pro football, is he's not reporting eligible. Like, every time this guy's come in the game as the quote-unquote third tight end, he's reporting eligible because you need to report eligible to make it a legal formation. Simultaneously, otherwise, if you only report eligible the times we're throwing it, obviously it's a dead giveaway, right? But this is pseudo 13 personnel. Okay, so we've got our one back here, and then we have actually two tight ends as our what would be our F and our Z, and we have a sixth lineman in the game as our Y. So that's our pseudo 3 tight ends right here. So 13 personnel with our X backside being our sole receiver, which is Sutton. Okay. What makes this play so creative, though, is this use of this little motion here with the slice across. So not only do you get the motion with the right guard pull, the slice across, they make this look like counter to the boot, which I got to be honest with you guys, is I'm the biggest fan of pulling guys on boot. I think it's next level in terms of what you get from a run commitment. Then the pass concept part of it is you have our tight end work vertical. He looks like he's just pushed down and blocking, slow release. Because of his push down, block, and his number being 73, you're going to see this guy and this guy take the corner, and there's going to be no one left for our push to flat. And then just an easy layup touchdown. I love these sort of, I call them scheme dimes, right? Where it's like, man, we're going to rip a touchdown, but it's based on scheme, you know? We got a great scheme tied into it to give us an easy pitch and catch. So good, man. Flat out awesome. Love getting the big boys in the end zone, too. There's nothing like it. Rewarding these guys who are consistently our guys up front doing the dirty work. There's just nothing like it. Here we've got a Sutton miss. This one is, it's hard because I get a lot of what Bo's trying to get done here. I really get it, where he's like trying to hold Sutton up in this window. I also think Sutton's open early enough where we really should have been on him a split second sooner. simultaneously, we got to have our veteran receivers throttling in these windows. So Mims is motioning across, and then he's on this vertical threat. Sutton's going to work inside, up, and out on the sail. Ingram's going to be across the formation. We're going to have the fake here, and we're booting out here. I guess you could alert this vertical, but really you're thinking 1 to 2. And so my only thought with it is, we probably should be firing this rock. If I'm being honest, I think Sutton's got to be just a little bit more controlled out of his break. He's got to be a little bit more controlled out of his break so that when Bo goes to hold him up in that window, they can get it done. This is one of those games where, man, you feel for these guys, right? You want all these guys to have their best games in the biggest moments. Sutton had a rough one. He had a tough game in terms of what we traditionally expect from him. I think this is another clip to add to that, because if he just throttles down in the window right now, we're good to go. Yeah. Here we've got Mims. We're going to hit Mims. We got just an old school Hank concept here, where you got the Hank with the double curl. I'm wondering if Sutton's on the cop here, though, with this condensed split. Let's see. Yeah, Sutton's on more of a cop route. Mims, to me, feels like more of a curl. But, man, just a great read, great execution. One of those old school concepts that everybody still runs. Still is wide open half the time. Just exactly what you want, team. Especially in a 2-minute into half situation. I love this heat adjustment that teams are starting to do nowadays too, where they put their back up to take away that double A. I think it's great. So what's kind of cool here is we get a switch release on this. So we get this switch release where this is our Hank, this is our first read. Sutton's on more of a corner stop. So this is our first read, and then based on where we feel the coverage come from to take this away, either guy is eligible as our second read. I love working the switch release side like Bo does here, where you can see this safety. Watch this safety drop down because it's quarters to take that away. This guy widens, and then we're able to wrap him with our curl route to where he's too wide, he's too deep, and then we have this great horizontal window to throw this thing into. Just a huge 3rd and long conversion in 2 minutes. Just great stuff by Bo, man. But again, and it's hard because I'm trying to walk this line of Bo is a special player, and we have to acknowledge that. However, to act as if this is, that's open, right? That's wide open. So to me, I do think there are breadcrumbs on this tape where you can look at it and go, man, the Broncos here, they're running some pretty great stuff. They're getting some guys open. They've got, some real opportunity if Stiddy can execute some of this stuff. This to me was so awesome. And I like that Romo highlight, for all the flack Romo gets, man. I love that he highlighted the fact that, a lot of teams are trying to take away the perimeter at the end of half because they're, in their head, they're thinking, hey, these guys, they're trying to get a little bit closer for the field goal, right? And then I love Sean's answer to that, which is let's take a shot play, and let's take a shot play on a design throwback. So what you have here is you have this. We have this guy running over. What you normally get is a sail route paired with it, right? Instead, what we're going to get is we're going to get this, and then we're going to get this all the way across the formation. We're moving our launch point. We're making it look like, hey, everything should say to you guys, sprint out, sail with an over. Everything should look that way. And that's why this backside safety starts getting greedy, because he's like, oh, okay, hey, I got sprint away. I need to get over here and help my guys on this over route, on this sail route. I need to make sure I'm in the play. And what ends up happening is then he gets crossed over. And I tell you what, 17 does a great job. Lil Jordan Humphrey does a great job of making up for his first drop. That's a really darn good job that he did making up for that scheme dime drop that we had earlier on the swing concept. Man, that is an awesome football. Look at this thing. Holy smokes, man. You know, it's funny because then I say, hey, you know, everybody can operate this. And it's like, well, not this one. I'm not saying City can't make this throw. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is this is a special throw. This is special. That is absolutely awesome, man. And just the confidence to hunt with the football at the end of the half. This ended up as you got. I mean, everything in these playoffs end up playing a huge role, but this sequence ended up playing a huge role in the Broncos win. That touchdown that then follows it up with a Josh Allen fumble, field goal. That was a huge piece to the Broncos pulling this thing off. Here we have the interception, and this one is obviously, you know, to me, there's no shot. If you've ever played quarterback, you could blame this on Bo. When these guys, you're so used to throwing. I don't really love the term throwing blind, but you really are. You're so used to the fact that these linemen are so big, you can't see. And then when these guys drop and they kind of mirror drop like this, dude, there's no way Bo would have any idea that he's not engaged with bulls right now, right? Like Bo, like there's just no way to process that. Bo thinks, oh, okay, hey, I've got, you know, I'm assuming he's trying to work Ingram here on this shallow, which kind of a different conversation because I don't think that's the place to go with the football. But what they've got is they've got what we used to call the Seahawk concept, where you've got the deep Hank with the shallow. Hawk, Hank, shallow, right? Okay, your shallow cross is going to pull up against zone, so that's what Ingram does. This is where Bo's trying to go. However, this guy ends up rushing and then kind of pulling back. He's pulling back for Bo. His eyes are on the quarterback because what he's doing is he's pulling back in case Bo starts to scramble, as he can try to go make a play. And then it just ends up where he lucks himself. I don't want to say lucks himself. It's a good scheme, but where he ends up in a position that's just absolutely perfect to make a play on the football. And then also, let's not take for granted how hard of a play that is for a D lineman, and he makes it, right? They're going to make good plays too. And that's just flat out tremendous, honestly. You know, all they're doing is they're just trying to get to where they can keep Bo in the pocket, make sure his legs don't extend this play and hurt them on third down. And then, you know, they get the pick. This one I flat out love because this is a Mims running back rep. The guy in a crouch behind Bo, that's Mims. Okay? And then they think on third and long, they're going to catch the Bills in man coverage, right? That's what they're thinking. They're thinking, okay, hey, third and long, we're going to catch the Bills in man. We've got Mims coming out of the backfield. They're not going to realize that it's Mims. And they're going to be late to respond, and that's exactly what happens, right? They do. They get Mims out of the backfield. So I want you guys to see, too. Look at it from just watch how fast they get lined up, too. You see how fast they get lined up? Little Jordan Humphreys kind of honestly, I don't want to say ruins it, but it goes to the wrong side. So that hurts us right there because that's not a design motion. That's just going the wrong side. We would have loved to snap this thing 7 seconds ago, right? This is supposed to be a quick snap. Look at all these guys at the line of scrimmage that are potentially coming. Okay, so they got man here, man here. This guy is man, right? Swing that thing out to Mims, one of the faster players for Denver. That safety trying to cover us from depth inside out off a bullet route. Just easy money. Huge 20-yard gain. That is just huge. Gosh. 17 goes to the right side. We got a real shot, too, to quick snap this thing and create even more chaos. That's also what injuries do, guys, right? Like, there's no shot. Little Jordan Humphrey was supposed to be out there for as many snaps as he was, and that's not a knock against him. That's just the design of this offense, right? But you get Pat Bryant to go down, like, guys go down, you got to fill in. And you got to fill in, and you're probably running concepts that you've never he probably has a 1 rep the whole week at that play, like at most, right? Like, let's be real. Probably got no reps at this play the whole week. He had no idea where to line up. It's just, that's what it is this time of year, man. You got to stay healthy, and then when you don't, people have to step up and be able to fill in. But I'll tell you from a design standpoint that's about as good as it gets when you think about, hey, how can we design a 3rd and long to try to take advantage of a pressure look? All right, team, a real quick break. Jump over to memberships and join the FTA Army or Film Junkie level to continue to support this channel so I can pump these breakdowns out for you guys. And then remember, we've got a Broncos extended cut breakdown coming tomorrow. So jump over there, join the membership, more film, support the channel. It means the world to me. You guys know the deal. Let's jump back into the film. This one, team, you're going to love. We got a Sutton scramble dime. This is just flat out awesome. Look at this. Great climb, great escape. Great job by Sutton. You know, I did knock him, right? I did knock him for, hey, he had a rough game. But great job by Sutton working downhill on the sideline to take away the angles from Buffalo, right? To take away the undercut angles. Just a great job, man. Flat out awesome. You know, this is the drive to take the lead in the 4th quarter, late in the 4th. You guys look at this. I want you guys to watch Sutton at the top of this thing and watch how he fights downhill to take away the possibility of an undercut. Okay, watch him. You see how he's flat and then he starts to work downhill to take away that undercut? Absolutely awesome. Watch Bo here, extend the play. Extend the play, get horizontal, climb, go. Yeah. Absolute rocket. Climb up, getting horizontal, rip it. Thing is awesome, man. It's great to see those guys start to really get a feel for each other. And again, it's not like this is the first time we've seen this, but to see this show up in the biggest moments, this is awesome. That is just flat out incredible. We're going to follow it up with a Sutton in cut. That is just, man, there were some special plays down the stretch from this team that you've got to really, man, just really appreciate. Like, just couldn't be a bigger moment, right? 3rd and long, driving for a chance to take the lead in the divisional round. What do you have here? You got a cross, you've got a seam, you've got dagger, right? Another NFL staple. It's been around the league. This Sutton does a great job of throttling in the window. It's a great job. I want you guys to see Bo in the pocket here. I want you guys to watch this. Clean 5 hitch, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitch shot. It's a great ball. 2, 3, 4, 5 hitch shot. Gosh, man, that is flat out awesome. Again, just a huge moment, right? Final drive in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth, divisional round. And you can count on those guys to make that play. That's what Broncos country's been waiting for. They've been waiting for guys that they can feel like, man, all right, we're back. Fourth quarter, game on the line, we have a chance. This is as good as it gets from both Mims and Nix. Little double move on the outside to take the lead. It's just awesome. Look at him stay anchored in the pocket there. Holy smokes, man. So let's talk through this. You see Mims motion across the formation. Okay, we're getting to 3-by-1, right? We're getting to trips to the left, single receiver backside. Mims is on a double move here. So they're making this. They're going to clear this out here. He's going to be on this. Mims is on this double move, this stutter and takeoff. I want you guys to watch this. They get man coverage, right? They get single high man. He's walking down. He's the man defender here. Man, center field safety, man. Okay? They're getting pressure with man coverage behind it. And why are they doing that? Because they're doing that because they're trying to take, at some point, you got to start to get aggressive as a defense, right? You got to start to get to that where, all right, man, we got to try to create a play. We got to try to create a negative play. So they're getting into pressure, trying to create a negative play. You see that double move by Mims, and then Nick's just doing a great job hanging on it and then putting that thing out there for him to go make a play. High-level quarterback play, high-level receiver play. I mean, I want you guys to see this catch, too, because to track this thing over the shoulder in this moment, look at this, guys. That's so dang good, man. That is a long handoff. That is absolutely perfect. Look at this. Good gracious, man. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. Now we're in overtime, drive number 2. If you want any of the drive number 1, we've got a couple clips on the extended cut dropping tomorrow, so jump over, make sure you get that membership. But this is overtime drive number 2, the game winner. And I just love this, work into our check down. And I love the way 12 competed after the catch in this game. He, I thought, really showed a lot in terms of competitive grit on some of these plays where it's like we were getting him the ball and check down and he's just competing his tail off. Great job by Bo, too, getting to his check down, right? Don't be afraid to get to your check down in these high pressure moments because they're sinking. They're trying to take away. You know, we got this switch release concept again, right? Remember, we saw it earlier where Bo kind of hung on it, right? Remember, guys, we motioned down. We have the switch release flutie. Okay, Bo takes his check down. Takes his check down because you see how much sink there is. You see 24. 24 starting to get back here to take the sail route away. Okay. You could argue that, hey, Sutton's going to come wide open on this dig route, but I don't think you want to hold on to the football in that moment. I think you want to get to your check down, and then Harvey rewards you for getting there early, right? You get to your check down early, your back is going to go make a play. 2, 3, 4, 5, hitch, reset, ball. Yeah. Great footwork. Great job being on time. And then that's just competitive grit right here. That's just being the ultimate competitor. Gosh, man, I love that. All right, team. We got 2 of them to talk through. PI number 1. You got Sutton on the slot fade. Bo sees man. He goes to his guy, right? Who's been his guy all year. When you see man coverage and you have your number 1 guy from the whole season locked on a slot fade against man, this should be your exact thought, which is, I'm going to hunt with the football. Now, to me, I don't know how much I'm really in on a PI here. What I'll say, though, is a clip earlier with Lil Jordan Humphrey, it was an absolute mob job. So this is definitely a grab here. You can see it. Definitely a grab there on this arm, which then limits Sutton's ability to make a play on this football. So I don't think, like, when I say I'm out on the PI here, it's not that I'm, like, there's definitely pass interference there. Huge moment. So I'm out on it, but it should have been called on the play before, which effectively would have put the ball in the same spot. I don't know if it was a play before or 2 plays, whatever. But I think the end result is correct in that the Broncos should have gotten one of those. This one, like, he's obviously completely limiting Sutton's ability to get there. So it's like, hey, it is what it is. You know, people are always like, let the players decide. It's like the players are deciding. They're deciding to grab an arm. So, you know, it's interesting. The first time I watched this, I kind of was like, I'm not sure I'm in on that. Well, the more I watch it, I'm kind of like, you know what? I really am. And then this one is just, again, when you see the photo of it, it's like, I don't know how you could not call it. It just, like, I get it that if you're a Buffalo fan or you're a Buffalo player, I understand the frustration when a flag comes out in a huge moment. I get that. And you can just see how hurt Bo is at that point when he's trying to, like, brace his ankle. I understand, watch Bo here, and how he's trying to, he just doesn't, like, this is not normal from a quarterback to, like, you can see him hobbling. I understand the frustration when you see a flag come out in a huge moment. But what are these officials supposed to do with that? Where you are form tackling somebody and the ball is still in the air. Like, I don't know what they're supposed to do with that. You've got him wrapped up and form tackled and the ball has not even arrived. So it's like you can get frustrated. And I think, honestly, everybody's frustrated. Even I'm frustrated watching that because it's like, dude, you know, I would have rather won with Mims having a legit opportunity to make a play at the football without getting tackled, right? And 27 making a good defensive play if he's going to make one. But he doesn't. He tackles him. So it's like, what are they going to do? Not throw the flag when you tackle somebody? It's just, you know, it's kind of ridiculous to be frustrated by that. But it is what it is. And that's part of what makes the NFL, the game, so great. So I'm trying to look something up because I want to make sure that I do it justice when I talk about this, because to me, obviously, the biggest moment is the biggest thing is Bo Nix going down. Like, everybody knows that, right? So then I start going, all right, you know, what do you have to go off of? And here's what I'll say. Okay. We had an AFC championship game where a quarterback went 17 for 32, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns. We had a Super Bowl where our quarterback went 13 for 23, 141 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. Now, obviously, that was one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, being Peyton Manning, and the last time the Broncos won a Super Bowl. But what I'm going to say is this is a complete ball club. This Broncos team is a complete ball club. This defense is legit. Special teams is legit. They can run the football. I would argue that the year that they won it most recently, I would argue that what I would quote unquote categorize as a scheme dime. We've schemed them up so good that it's a dime. I would argue that our ability to generate scheme dimes is higher than it was that year, because that year it wasn't really 18's offense. It felt more of a hybrid, like they were trying to fit 18 into their system. So with all that being said, there is a path for the Broncos. I'm in no way, shape, or form advocating that this is a better situation. It's obviously not, right? And everybody's heartbroken for Bo. But you've got a seat at the table in the AFC Championship game. Stidham has been successful at times. Now, granted, probably the preseason when I think about it. All that to say, they have a chance to play complementary football, keep this thing close. And when you look at the other teams and you think Patriots, Texans, I don't know if either of those, you could argue the Patriots. I don't know if either of those coming to Mile High are really the type of teams that are going to run away with it. Like, there is an argument to be made that you play good you play good defense, you run the football, you give steady shots accordingly. This thing's tight down the stretch, and then you never know, right? When these games are tight down the stretch, you don't know what ends up shaking out. So for me, I think there's a real chance. I don't think it's all of a sudden that the Broncos are out of this thing. I really don't. I think there's a chance for them to pull it off, and I think it's fun. I don't want to say funny. It's fitting that it's the organization that has done this sort of run before. So to me, I think there's a real chance to go do it. Obviously, you lean on this defense. Defense has to step up. Running game has to step up. Everybody's got to elevate. These receivers have to elevate and make the hard ones. So guys, comment, let me know what you thought. And until next time, peace.